Good evening, everybody. Now it's September 7th on Saturday, approximately 7 o'clock. I want to welcome everyone to this talk. And we're going to be discussing, first of all, to thank everyone for watching my videos. I see by the numbers. I see that everyone loved it. And I was very, very happy to bring that to you. And on two special dates, that's what we're going to talk about now. On two special dates, to do my kolo playing, my Serbian music on August 10th, which has a special meaning to me. And then on September 1st that I was able to do the singing concert, the medleys, and in several languages. I want to thank everyone for watching. Now we're going into the other story, to be able to open up the book on a very emotional matter and the connection of those two dates, where it's also the backstory on another particular matter that is emotional and precious and dear to me, and that is the whole theme of being slain in the spirit, and the 2 days as a 16-year-old, and then 7 years later as a 23-year-old, on September 1st and then August 10th, two very different situations, very different times. But also what I want to do is I want to talk, not just give the backstory that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but it's what I call the spiritual lessons that I've learned, where I wrote about it in 2017. Now I'm speaking it. See, these are my hands that were playing the piano. We got to do a hand ID here. But also to do it in the format of what I call the spiritual lessons that I had learned, comparing Slain in the Spirit and then staying at the Paradise Pier when my mom had sent me in January. The different spiritual, that I'm cross-referencing them basically. To begin with, to begin a little bit of the backstory, where I was slain in the spirit, the names and the places don't matter. Love covers, and also to speak only the best, like it says in scripture. I'm learning the rules. I'm learning how this works. But also I'm telling my experience. I cannot tell anyone. I'm not challenging anyone. I can not tell anyone else's experience. I can only tell my experience. What my experience has been, and what I feel that works the best for me in my walk with God and the spiritual lessons. Again, where I had put it on paper. I had put it on paper in a letter. Now I'm speaking it. A lot of misconceptions as far as being slain in the spirit and what that means to me. And where that was 46 years later, exactly on September 1st as a kid, where I was slain in the spirit at a meeting as a 16-year-old. And then later on, August 10th, which was the second one. And again, the names and the parties don't matter. We'll just call it party 1, party 2. Simple. As a kid, I was so euphoric. I was so blown away by the whole idea. I still am, even now 46 years later, and that's fine, that's cool. That's not wrong. But I did not know how, as a 16-year-old, when I had practically got up off the floor and my friends had helped me, I did not know at that time to be able to look at it and say, great, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, and I believe in it. I believe, and that's no problem. I believe it, and I'm going to believe it and until eternity. And that in itself is not wrong. That in itself is not a sin. However, at the same time, to have something and not to be able to use it, not knowing how to use it to your advantage, that's wrong. Let me give you an example. My late mom, when I had found out that I was able to videotape the walkthroughs on Skype when we had the talks when she was in Montenegro and former Yugoslavia. I was here. I did not know that I could record it. I found out in the final year, and I'm glad and grateful that I was able to get the walkthrough of the Disneyland Hotel. And I see by the numbers you guys have enjoyed that. A couple Costco walkthroughs, and also the walkthroughs of South Coast Plaza in our final year. What has been my biggest heartbreak in that matter was that I did not know that. And since I like to video record and everything, and that's all good and wonderful, but I did not know that that I could have had a lot more memories, that I could have been able to record more walkthroughs of Disneyland, more walkthroughs of California, because I had, I took her in my pocket wherever I went. I had given her the walkthroughs. I was so excited. I'm in Disneyland. She's in Montenegro. She's with me. The only thing we didn't do is Small World together. But I didn't know that I could record it, how valuable that would have been. And to have something and not to know, to be able to use it out of ignorance, that's wrong. That's what we're dealing with here. And shortly after being slain in the Spirit, and how wonderful it was, I did not know how to apply that, how to be able to take that and say, great. And it was wonderful. And my friends helped me up, and everything was wonderful. A family connection there. But I did not know how to look at it, because when the storm had hit, so like a maelstrom, that hit within a few months later, and hell broke loose. Let's just call it. Stuff happened. Life happened. I did not know how to be able to apply it, to be able to say, okay, great. Slain the Spirit, knocked down, wonderful. How do I apply this? How do I use this to be able, it's what I call the 5 S's. I hope I can remember it now. Strength, satisfaction, security, and sanctuary. To be able to use that as a shelter. As a shelter, to be able to use that when hell had broken loose, to be able to draw closer to God, to surrender more of my heart to God. I believe in emotions. I believe in feelings. I'm Serbian, so we party like crazy at our parties, and some of the music that everyone has just heard. And being into opera and being into Disney, all of that combination, I believe in emotion, and that's great. That's wonderful. But now to be able to take that and apply it, that stuff happened. Hell had, within a year, stuff happened. A lot of a couple of brutal family breakups where my mom and I were affected by it, and stuff happened. But I didn't know how to be able, people will sometimes say, well, if it was a move of God, why didn't it change you? Because when it's a move of God, it's supposed to change you. Now we're talking about as a 16-year-old. We're talking about the first one, not the second one. Great. Why didn't it change you? Because I didn't know how to apply. Just like, and that's what I wanted to say. The Paradise Pier, the spiritual lesson. I'm getting there. It's just like where my mom had sent me to the Paradise Pier Hotel, which we all know about. She had booked the reservation for me, and she was gracious and generous, and booked the reservation for me and said, go approximately in the end of November. I wanted to get still the tail end of Christmas on the reservation. And then she had booked it, and it was handled. It was all taken care of. So from her point, it was a done deal. But if I had not packed up my stuff, got up at 7 o'clock in the morning, packed up my stuff, and showed up, it would have been a deal breaker. I wouldn't have gotten the benefit out of it. I had to get up and pack my stuff. How long did it take for me to pack up my stuff when I knew that I was going to spend the night at the Paradise Pier? About 15 minutes, from 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, like not California Screaming, Incredibles, or like Radiator Springs. That's 0 to 60, the takeoff, just like during the races or Star Wars. Oh, that's Wagner's Ride of the Valkyrie. I'm sorry. Light speed to Endor. So I had to do my part, where Mom had done her part, but if I hadn't shown up, I would have forfeited everything. I would have forfeited the benefit where they upgraded my room to a park view. I would have lost the early entry and the benefits to be able to ride Peter Pan flight. That's where everyone goes before everyone else does. People say, was it worth the price? Yeah, to be able not to wait in a 50-minute line for Peter Pan. That's a Disney joke there. So, but if I had not shown up, everything would have been forfeited. So, just like with Slain in Spirit, the grace, the power was there, whatever you want to call it. But I did not know how to tap into it. I did not know how to be able to say, when the trials came after that evening, within weeks, that I didn't know how to use it for strength, safety, sanctuary, security, and shelter. There's another one there, and satisfaction. So, to be able to apply it and get the full benefit out of it. And stuff had happened. Now, we're going to go into the second part, because there's two parties here. Party 1, Party 2, there was 2 evenings here. And the second part, we're going to go where the meeting, where both parties had converged, where stuff happened, life happened. I didn't know how to, at that time, as a 16-year-old, to be able to say, yes, I was hurt, not to deny it, not to deny stuff happened. And me and my mom went through, both of us were affected by several breakups in the family that tore apart 2 families. We don't deny that. But to be able to say, okay, it happened, but how are we going to use that now to hand that over to God? To be able to draw closer to God, to be able to surrender more to God, more fully, to be able to use that to my benefit. I had found myself as a 16-year-old like a goose in a snowstorm. And because there were situations that I didn't know how to draw the boundaries, to be able to say, okay, stuff happened, let's hand it over to God. I didn't know how to do that. So it was like driving a car over a cliff 60 miles an hour without any brakes. So now, keep in mind there's 2 evenings here that we're dealing with. We're going to get into the second one, and it was interesting where things occur in sets of 3s or 7. So a little bit of trivia here, that it was almost 7 years, from September 1st, 78 to August 10th, 85, where both parties, Party 1 and Party 2, had converged. And it was a different situation. We'll get into that in a few moments. And I do have to take a break.